Shadow work is something that you can do in the moment, in your life. It's a practice of self-awareness. It's a practice of self-acceptance. And it's a practice of retraining the way that you think and the way that you interact with yourself. I want to share with you one of the simplest ways to do shadow work. Hi, I'm the Shadow Alchemist. Shadow work is important because enlightenment is not becoming the best version of you. It's allowing the worst parts of you to be loved so that you can be whole and integrated. The truth is, the bad, wrong parts of you aren't actually things you need to get rid of and destroy. Every part of you is a contribution. Every way that you can be in the world can contribute in the right time and place. But when we suppress and judge these parts of us, they often lash out in the worst ways at the worst times. Shadow work is about bringing your whole self back in alignment so that you can access those parts of you in the moment when they would be a contribution. Anger, for example, can be an incredible catalyst for change when it's used appropriately. But when we suppress anger, then it only shows up in those moments when we're low energy and there's too much other things happening for us to have that, maintain that willpower, that control over it, and then it just lashes out. But if we integrate it and allow it and stop using our energy to suppress it, then we can access it when it would actually be of use. So, for example, when a strong emotion comes up, maybe you have a nightmare. A significant other cheats on you in this nightmare, and you wake up and you feel that heaviness and you feel that sadness and that anger. When those big emotions come up, whatever triggers them, shadow work is the simplest form of shadow work is sitting with that emotion and asking, where's this coming from? What am I feeling right now? What am I really feeling? What's under that? What's the root of this? And allowing yourself to get to the place where you recognize the meaning that you're making. Because underneath every emotion is some meaning that we've assigned to what happened. If my partner cheats on me, then it means that I'm not good enough. And when we can get under that feeling and really have the self-reflection to recognize what we're really feeling, we can question it, we can challenge it. We can look at it with our full conscious mind and say, am I not enough? Or is this just an old feeling that is familiar because maybe I was told I wasn't enough or treated like I wasn't enough when I was growing up? And so this same feeling is coming up now, but that doesn't mean it's true now. And that's one of the most important parts of shadow work, is recognizing that just because you have a thought or a feeling, just because you've assigned meaning to something, doesn't make it true. The question isn't, do I have evidence that this is true? The question is, what changes in my life if I believe this is true? And what changes in my life if I believe it's not? If I believe that I'm just not good enough, how is that going to affect the way that I show up in this relationship or in my life in general, to the way I treat myself? If I believe that this is BS, that I am enough, if I choose that belief, if I choose to assign that meaning, what happens to my life? What happens to me? Well, I actually show up like I'm enough. And because I'm showing up like I'm enough, I am. And that is the whole process right there. The hardest part is that self-awareness. That hardest part is getting to what's the actual feeling, the actual meaning that you've assigned to what happened that's creating that big emotion. So many of us stay on the surface and, we'll have a big emotion coming up and we'll think, well, I'm angry because they did this or that. But that's not why you're angry. That's the surface. Why you're angry is that deeper feeling, that meaning you've assigned to what they did. The way that what they did means something about you. That's where that actual core of that emotion is. And it's not actually about someone outside of you. It's not about anything outside of you. It's about that feeling. And that feeling usually originates in the very beginning of our lives when we're learning about who we are. and what we mean to the world. And when we can look at that core and question it, be curious, be compassionate, ask ourselves, is this true? And does it have to be true? And what happens in my life if I believe it's true? And what happens in my life if I don't? Then we actually can change those triggers. We can feel like we're enough even when those external circumstances are triggering that feeling of not enoughness in us. And that is the most basic go do it right now practice of shadow work I can give you. Please go and check out the rest of my videos because I am here for you.